Hello and welcome everybody to this week's ChatterVOX. We have a huge show. There's been two major announcements during the last fortnight, one being the town hall with the Vox team and the other one with the Vox boxes. So we'll be talking mostly about those today. But first off, we have major malfunction in the house. Say hello, Major.
Hello, Major.
Jeff Saylor's here. Unfortunately, Stuck Pixel has other things he needs to do. But first off, what I want to cover though is I forgot what they're called. Hang on. Where am
Hey
I?
everybody, it's Hefe. Shout out to all the new people here. Good to see you, Alpaca and G.I. Joel. Sassafras Squats, are you related to Dr. Wookie? And we even have Rusty Spork in the house today. Uh,
Oh, and I see that Big Monet has also arrived. Big Monet is
ah,
one of
sweet.
he's not quite the animation. He can probably explain what he does, but he works in the Vox team as well and in the animation and engineering sides. However, first off, I want to cover the housekeeping rules. That's what I was just looking for. So first off, can everyone please mute themselves when they're not talking? We don't want to have any special sound effects either. We don't talk about price. Please be respectful to the Vox team. They are giving up their time to be here and talk to us today. We do record these chatterboxes and post them on our YouTube channel, so please like and subscribe. There is a chat window available in the chatterbox. It's the grey icon in the top right-hand corner. We do post some art and other questions there. Speaking of questions, if you do want to ask a question, please ask it appropriate time, or you can type them into the chat and Jeff or I will be asking them during today's chatterbox. Okay, that's all the business for today. As I mentioned, the structure's a little bit different today. I do want to talk about first the Vox update for the last fortnight. Then I want to talk about the Vox boxes. Then we'll get to the town hall, and then we will go to the questions that have been asked in Discord over the last fortnight. And obviously, we will be asking other people's questions as well during that time. Okay, so that was a lot. Major malfunction. How's your fortnightly sprint gone?
Uh, it's going good. We had our review today. It's always weird because in the middle of a cycle, like there's always these updates that it's like you look at everything and everything just looks busted, right? Because none of the art's in yet, and bits and pieces are still all over the floor. It's kind of like everything's going okay when you're like rebuilding a car, but the transmission's still on the floor and the engine block is still not in the car yet. It's kind of like that right now. So it all looks like it's going to be good, but we're not seeing it all in game yet.
Okay, and for people listening, we also currently have a playtest going on. And so my understanding is there is almost 100 testers, Major.
There are. Yeah, and people are coming back more than once, which is great to see. There's not much to do yet, but any help that you guys can give us, and I mean, obviously, there's a couple of things that you guys pointed out that we kind of already knew, but you guys reinforced it in spades. Like dropping Vox onto landscape is the worst experience you could possibly have. Um, and I just need you to know that there's already a fix that's already been. We're looking at it today, which is far better and feels much better and all that stuff. But yeah, please, keep poking around at it, and as features are come online, we'll keep updating, the build as we go. And yeah, love all the help. I love the enthusiasm too. Um, I when you're so close to a project, sometimes it's hard to actually, you know, get excited about it every day. But you guys definitely help keep me and the rest of the team like engaged and psyched about what we're working on.
That's great to hear. I do want to ask, are you still open to more people coming in and doing some testing for you?
Yeah, we've opened the floodgates. Just reach out to Stuck Pixel. He's got some questions to ask. But we've even lifted the NDA. We're just like we're rushing to open beta and inside of the next month. So we were just kind of like, yeah, let's just open the gates. The enthusiasm after the town hall kind of jumped more than we thought it would. So yeah, come on in. The water's fine.
So, without an NDA, would I be able to post a ChatterVOX video next week about it
Sure,
with with gameplay, etc.?
sure.
Okay, right.
Be
Well,
nice.
that's next
Please
week
don't.
sold.
Okay. Please be nice. I mean, you know where we're at, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's not much of a game yet. That's coming. Um, but yeah, I'm perfectly happy to, have some video out there of it at this point.
Okay. Wonderful. Great to hear.
I think
Okay.
the alpha test is going great, and people have to realize that this testing is super helpful on the back end. And yeah, it's very rudimentary right now on the pre-alpha, but all
Yep.
this feedback on all the different devices and operating systems is super
Uh,
helpful to the team. And don't worry about hurting their feelings.
Yeah, don't
Speak,
worry about hurting our feelings,
yeah,
at least
it's all
I.
good.
But and you're absolutely right. When we're doing these mobile things, so we were talking about this today. Is my iPhone 14 mini has a different screen size and resolution than my iPad. Like if we want to just do extremes, and where's the sweet spot? Because even if you do dynamic UI and stuff, like there's still stretching and growing that has to happen, and somebody somewhere is gonna get a suboptimal per a view of it, right? And it's like seeing the phones that everybody's using, seeing what is the commonality of, like, oh, there's a lot of iPhone 14, so that should be our baseline. Or let's say, for example, what wasn't that? It was like, for some reason, our community all have iPhone 10s still. Like, then we would adjust accordingly to make sure that the iPhone 10 is actually the best experience. So, you guys just logging in and taking a look and, pointing out things that, like, oh, you know, on my iPhone 12, it looks a little weird here, there, here, and there. Like that does totally help us.
Okay. That's great. I'm going to move on to the Vox boxes. They were obviously the big announcement this week. So, for those that aren't aware, the Vox team have released Vox boxes for 99 US dollars that can be purchased. Now, there was some confusion about what was actually in them, but I do want to clarify what that is. I can go through it, Major, if you don't want to. I've got a screenshot in front of me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so the first off is you have 100% chance of getting in-game land. It is common rarity, so every purchase you will get land. You will also have one of these three included in the Vox box as well. So there's a 15% chance that it's Alice from last expedition. There is a 35% chance that it's Lucy the Border Collie from Common Ground World, and there is a 50% chance that it's Project X, which is a special Protovox. There is also, so you will get one of those three things given those percentages. Now, there is also a 20% chance that you will win a Future Boy soundtrack. Now, that's in addition. So it's 1 in 5 people should also get that track as a third item. Not everyone will get a third item, just to be clear, but there is a 20% chance of that happening when you get a Vox box.
Hey, to clarify on that, it adds up to 100% chance of getting one of the protovox in the land area and a
Yep,
possibility of a third.
correct. So everyone gets land, 20% chance to get the song, and you will also get one of the 3 Protovox.
And
So speaking
hey, since we're on that topic, let's talk about land areas fast before people freak out. The OG land areas, the Fantasy Land and the Galaverse Land, is going to be much better than
Yes.
the common land, and there might be possibilities in the future to maybe merge them and make a better land area.
Right. The idea with land merging as we go along here is you take 3 common and you smash them together and they make an uncommon, and then 3 uncommon and they make a rare, and on and on and on. Um, and all of those, do get dynamically minted, right? So they all become a new NFT that gets created as you go up and up and up. And um, but the kicker here is that the only way you're going to get land above, I we haven't cut to the level yet, but right now what we're really looking at is like we're gonna sell common land. We're going to give away common land. Maybe we'll give away land above that level, but right now we're trying to just like be conservative about it and do the baseline. So if you want to get ancient land and you haven't bought it, from the whatever sales happened in the before times, the only way to get there is through merging uh, lands.
And you don't have to answer this, but since we're on the subject, is there anything set in stone on how many Vox will be able to be used on each rarity of the land area?
Yeah, there is already. Yep. So for common, it's 3, like you've seen, and then it goes up from there. And I think the maximum, don't completely quote me, I think the maximum is 10 on an ancient, or maybe it's 12. I can't remember offhand.
speaking of land, I've got another question, which is I've seen the terms called land, plots, and frontiers.
Uh,
It's
okay, so they're all the same thing. And this is what you get when you have a project that's been kind of kicked around in 3 different iterations, right? So really they're frontiers, right? By Project Cerebus ways. Land is just like being used as our short term, our shorthand, but it also goes back to there was a point that we were looking at doing like this giant land sale. So, and then plots was a word that was being used in. I don't know if you guys knew about the last one, which was Project Plutus. We were calling them land plots, which I thought was a terrible name. It sounds like poop to me.
Major.
Um,
So to clarify on that, every player starts out
every
in the game with a free frontier land area. Is that the
free
same?
frontier land. Yep.
Is that the same as the common land area in the
Yes.
box?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
So
Cool.
no, 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 no. Well, it is the same, but it's another piece of it, right? So you would have your starter, the one that you get for free, and then if you got it from the box, you would take that land. Now you would have 2 lands that you could use, and then if you got another one, then now you have 3 that you can learn. And now you could take those 3 and merge them together and have an uncommon,
Right on. All right,
and then
that
get a
explains
couple
it. Thanks.
more, and we see how we go there.
okay. So the question that I have here, Major, is we thought through this a little bit earlier. Is the starter plot that everybody gets, is that an NFT? Because potentially someone could sell that NFT
It is
and not.
not. So we're doing a little magic with that. It is upgradable into an uncommon NFT, but it is not an NFT. It's everything that we're giving away as a starter um, is not an NFT. It's actually just a data object. So you can't do what you were just thinking, right? We're very aware, like both Blair and I come out of the MMO world, and we're very used to account duping and all that fun stuff. Um, so we're trying to make sure that we have all those holes filled as we go along here. But somebody's going to find something. They always do.
So if someone took the 3 land, one being the starter land, and upgraded them to uncommon,
Yep.
Is that an NFT?
That is an NFT.
So if they sold that, what land would they then use?
None. They'd have to get more land.
Okay, so there's a potential they could open the game and have no land there to mine resources because they sold it, basically.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
I
Got
mean,
it.
if you that's sort of like, if you sold all your guns in whatever game and you have no guns, then well, you're dumb. Like, I'm sorry, but I could sell all my weapons in Diablo 4 and walk around and punch things, I guess, but you know, that's self-sabotaging. I can't stop people from doing that.
Okay. So I just want to go back to the three uh, Vox Protovox from the Vox box. So this is Alice from Last Expeditions, Lucy the Border Collie, and Project V. Now, I saw that Gala Girl, which we'll get to in a moment, is a skin for a Protovox.
Right.
So I'm wondering, are Alice and Lucy
So the
NFT?
line the
Are they
line
skin?
in the sand is this. Is if it is a Vox box, like, because of course, we're gonna do more of these, and we're gonna sell them on our store and all that. If it's coming from us, it is a Protovox with a skin attached to it, right? So if you get Alice, she's actually a Protovox who's wearing an Alice skin, right? But you still get the utility of that Protovox who just happens to be wearing the Alice skin. You could take that skin off if you wanted, but that's the
Okay.
idea, is that with anything that's coming from us, you're going to get the utility piece and the skin. Now, when it's going out to the music team or whatever who are selling a $5 box, that's just a skin, right? No Protovox. There's no utility to that other than that it's a cosmetic that you can put onto a Protovox. And that's how we're going to kind of deal with dealing with other boxes for other projects, is you'll get the cheaper version, the cosmetic version. I shouldn't say the cheaper version, but the cosmetic version in their boxes, and we'll keep the cool stuff.
So wait,
With the
hold
utility of
on.
the core.
Okay, so the Gala Girl that's going around in music, you're saying
Yep,
that is a skin only and not an actual Protovox?
that is correct.
Okay. Oh, and as long as we're talking about that, music is doing cool shit. First, for anybody that's in Austin, Texas right now, let me know or send a DM to Taco because he is down there for Consensus hanging out and happy to
Okay.
meet up with people. And it's really cool. They're doing like little shit like the dancing girl and dude on the progress of playing Future Boy or Gala Girl track in it. And it's so small, but it's just so friggin' awesome. I mean, people love it. So
Jeff, you
what?
might want to add that photo, add a screenshot of that to this chat. I have seen them around.
Yeah, okay, I'll grab it here.
Um, yeah, I want to share this too. This was actually on our Discord. Um, from Sinister Grin. This might be one of my favorite comments of all time here. This track is fire. It's like Donkey Kong Country deep sea level played through a synth heavy RuneScape sound font, and they crank the bass to 11 and rip the knob off. That is probably the greatest review of a song I've ever read. That's the song that's in our box. So, oh yeah, yeah.
As it turns out, I was going to talk about this a bit later, but there are actually 4 songs now available for Future Boy or Gala Girl. If you look, I'll cover that a little bit later. We've gone a little off track. I do want to pull it back to Lucy the Border Collie.
Yes.
So, is Lucy a skin? Is she a pet?
I
Uh,
think Lucy's going to be a unique case because she's our first quadruped, and we've decided as a team that we're going to leave her as a quadruped, breaking our own rule here of everything's going to be a biped. But because we have an animation cycle for her and all that, so she's going. The last we've kind of decided with her is she is a Protovox, uh, but maybe she's got some problems, but she will be usable the same way a Protavox or a Vox is usable in the game. She's just going to be a quadruped. Let's look at her as a great test. So she might end up not being a Protavox. She might be her own thing, maybe our first pet. We kind of designed ourselves into the corner a little bit here. But we'll come up with something. We'll make sure that she's usable. We'll make sure she's very cool. And, because for us, the big thing with her was she's our first cross usable NFT, right? She's usable in 2 games. But that was the thing we were trying to get past. And then, of course, then we're like, oh, yeah, but she's quadruped. And then, right. So there's some design challenges there.
For everyone listening, what Major just said is actually really important. This is the first NFT that Gala have produced that works in more than one game. So it is Common Ground World and Voxverse, which is a huge, huge achievement and a big drive towards interoperability as well.
Yeah, but we plan on, doubling down on this. We want to do this a lot with the Vox property. Like these songs that are, we just have them as songs right now, but when we finally develop the system, they'll all be usable in our game too. And then, hopefully, and no promises here because I don't run those teams, but once we figure out how to make that API work with our game, which sounds like it should be super easy, we'll share that with all the other game teams. So eventually, hopefully, Gala Music is available just as a soundtrack for any game that wants to use it.
Yeah, and speaking of that, because I know people are going to ask in music, say when they play that track while they are playing the Vox game, will that count as a listen?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, it does. Yep, because it's
Awesome.
using the same exact API that the mobile app uses. So it does count as a play, right?
I love seeing that cross-platform integration and interoperability. I mean, it's really unlimited what can be done with the Vox. I mean, with everything going on, and we still have Film to Attack, and then all these other games, and then this is a good transition into the GG Collective Mayhem event that I thought was awesome, but I did get in the top 20. Oh, speaking of, any idea when those land areas are going to be dropped?
The list just went around tonight, so soon. It's in Stuck Pixel's hands.
Okay, right on. And they also have some other games in their timeline, and I know that I don't know if you are, but Stuck Pixel is talking to them and working on maybe some 3D models for some other possible games. And I think they're doing a great job on it, even though it's kind of like LFG and outside of the Gallo ecosystem. I'm just loving the community support and contribution to it all, and really, really enjoying it.
Cool, thank you. We're trying. Baby steps, though.
Major, I do want to prompt you. You talked about something else to do with music and Vox integration, a certain thing that might be able to be made within Voxverse. Do you want to quickly mention that for those who may not be aware?
1 second. I'm sorry.
Well,
Are
I'll
you
give you,
For a moment.
are you
well, I'll
talking
give you.
about placing a jukebox in game?
That's exactly what I'm talking
Yeah.
about, Jeff.
Right. So that's one of the as we go along here into phase 3, when we get to phase 3, which will be interior decoration. One of the things that we've talked about is a jukebox that you can build and you can put into your rooms, and then curate. If you own music, Gala Music, you can put that on it, or you can pick from curated lists of music that the Gala Music team will make. They've already sent over a couple of sample lists. There's some good stuff, I have to say. Not enough heavy metal, but that just might be me.
We've got that covered, and it's on the way.
Good, it better be, man.
See
I've been
now,
bugging a couple of people.
I
I've been
want.
bugging a couple of people over there every meeting. I'm like, they're like, anything else you need? I'm like, yeah, we need more heavy metal.
Well, I'm going to torture you and get more country western on the way and some reggae.
I'm good with reggae. We need some ska too, right? I'm good with all that.
Yeah, yeah, we talked about that. Again, yes, it's coming.
Good, good.
Just to finish off the music piece, the 4 songs that are on Gala Music are Data Lake Dip by Future Boy,
Hmm.
1:26 a.m. by Future Boy, Vink Think by Future Boy, and Moonbeams by Gala Girl. It means I
Yep.
don't need to cover that
That
a little bit later.
and yeah, and we definitely are looking at doing more with them. That's uh, a friend of ours that does that, and he is he's really talented, man. Like I have to say, the Data Lake song and the one, what is it, 1:22 a.m. or whatever. Like I listen to those all the time. I just have them on my playlist, and um, yeah, I mean we'd love to, like, the joke is like let Future Boy like cut an album, right? And now he's only a few tracks away from that. So
Okay, what am I?
would you guys buy a vinyl,
A physical vinyl.
a physical vinyl?
I'd need a player for that.
You would, yeah.
So no, I would.
Or you can just put it up on your wall.
Maybe we could put it on our Vox wall. Actually, collect albums via that method in Voxverse.
The trophies and stuff like that is definitely on our list.
But
Um,
but the actual vinyl,
ah,
um, the vinyl record
right.
could actually be how it's represented as an album or a playlist within Voxverse.
I see what you're saying.
So that reinforces the old jukebox style where it picks up the album, flips it over, puts it on the player, and starts playing.
Okay, I see where you're getting at.
Yep. Okay, moving on. We had also the other big thing 2 weeks ago was the Vox team town hall on the 23rd of May. So there is a video about that. So the Vox team talked about the future of Voxverse and went through a number of items. They talked about we're currently on version 0.5 of Voxverse. That's what the playtest is about. So they do talk about what is in version 1, version 2, and version 3 of Voxverse. Major, so I do encourage people to go watch those videos. We're not really going to cover much of it here, although I did discover one inconsistency, Major, with the screenshots.
Oh yeah.
And it was regarding city block merging was the name. It was on version 2, finalizing the loop. There was the last item of city block merging, which was below picking up treasure or trash. So
Uh, so that was, I'm sure that was us thinking about. I'd have to go look at the deck, but that's attaching people's city blocks together.
got it. Okay. Yep.
Not merging as the merging mechanic. Oh my god.
So I didn't know
No,
if
we're
you would
not
have
gonna do that. Would
if
be
you had
insane.
if you would have common buildings which you could merge together to be an uncommon building. That's all I was thinking.
Yeah, that's not in the current plan, but that could be a thing. But we're much more when it comes. We're trying to keep the min maxing and the cosmetic as separate as possible. Um, because it's really like two different kinds of gamers. Like some people love to just min max the systems, and then some people just like to make pretty stuff. And so we're trying to keep it so the people that like to do pretty stuff don't have to grind the hell out of the game that much. So we probably won't do building merging. But you never know. You know, I can be talked into a lot of things.
Tofu.
Tofu. Sorry, dude. I'm on like hour 14 here. Please forgive me.
Okay. Now, Stuck Pixel was going to talk about Vox Souls today, and he did say that you were able to talk about them. So his comment, which he posted, was Souls are a huge part of this game. Something I'd like to talk about more in Chatterbox. So it's been top of mind for me to get to the bottom of that one. What would you like to tell us more about Souls?
So souls are an item that you can then equip onto any OG Vox, right? Protovox can't use them because Protovox have no souls. Robots can't use them because, well, robots don't have any souls either. Um, they are pretty significant buffs to certain stats. Um, and yeah, I mean that's really where it is they make your OG Vox, who are pretty awesome already, even more awesome. It's kind of as simple as that.
So, what benefits will a soul have?
Oh, you're gonna make me go look it up. Hold on.
Not specifically, you can talk in general terms if you like.
It could be anything from like an XP boost, so they advance levels quicker, to um, when it comes to the stuff that you guys have already seen, like gathering resources, they could have a boost in their strength or whatever, and that makes them collect wood quicker. Um, to they some of the other ones that will come in more in effect later when we get to the building stuff. But it's always a boost in effectiveness.
Okay, great. So, when might that occur? Which version of Voxverse are we thinking for souls?
The souls are actually in there as soon as we allow your wallets and your login to be used in the game, which we're not allowing right now. They're there. They're already there. So if you own them, they're just going to show up.
Great,
Yep, that's
awesome.
all that work's done.
Okay, moving on.
Wait, hold on. I gotta ask about the elephant in the room here about some of the V2 chickens and boxes that have had issues, and it relates to the souls and everything. I don't know if you can answer this, Major, but what are the plans for the future? Is everything going to move to Gala chain possibly, or are we going to index it all on the F chain still, or how is I mean, how's that going to
That's a
work?
good question. And if I have my druthers, I want to move everything to Gala chain. Um, it we're Gala. Why not use our own chain? And B, it just makes the game development side of this 1,000 times easier. Um, when it comes to the specifics of that stuff, I leave that to Stuck Pixel. Like, he's the one who's really untangling our past lives mess.
Okay,
Oh, that's
now
a cute little Vox. Who's that? Wiggler.
What box is that?
I don't know. I don't know them all. There's 35,000 of them.
um, the I'm very happy that the art director has now made an appearance in Discord. One of the things that has been said is that there will be mobile phone wallpapers and desktops coming
Really
um,
soon.
to us.
Really soon. Yeah, I've seen them. Um, the ones for desktop are definitely done. There's some resizing that needs to be done to make it for your mobile. Where is that? Hold on. So there's 2 that he threw over the wall today. We just need to package them up. One is, have you guys seen the future boy sitting in his apartment?
Yes.
And the other one is a rendering of uh sort of looks like Common Ground World voxelized. Little farm setting. I use it as a Slack background sometimes.
Okay. Great to hear. So, are they going to be a fortnightly thing, or how often do you think they'll be coming out?
We're trying to figure out our cadence on stuff like this right now. Like you guys know, we're a small team, so we're really trying to figure out like how much can we, how much juice can we squeeze in a month when it comes to social interaction and marketing and all that. Because Knight and I are also doing, on top of working on making this game, we're also doing all the marketing and social, right? So um, we're just trying to figure out what our cadence will be with that. Um, wallpapers aren't hard, but there's a bunch of other things that like we've thought about starting to get out to the community too, and we just need to figure out how much we can do with and still get some sleep in on the daily.
Okay, so just for everyone listening, we are moving to the questions part of the episode. So if you do have any questions for Major Malfunction or Big Monet, who is also here, can you please type them into the Discord chat, or you can obviously ask in person as well. I'm going to start because that's what I do. um, I do notice that Stuck Pixel, where we're talking about the builders packs, resource packs, artisan packs, etc., and he said that some have resources, which we would expect, but some have recipes and some have building blueprints. Is there anything more that you want to talk about for what's a recipe and what's a blueprint?
So a recipe. So a recipe and a blueprint. So a recipe would be something that you can learn. I'm going to get this backwards. I'm going to, but one of them is something that you can learn and then you could craft for infinity, right? So like you learn how to make bicycles, right? And the other one is a one-off, super rare, right? So one is a recipe that you can only do once, and the other one is something that once you learn it, you can do it forever.
Got it.
Box, or would that be account bound?
It would be, say that again?
Would that stay with the Vox itself? So if the Vox is moved
No,
to a different
it
account,
it stays to the account. Everything stays to the account. We don't jam it to the individual box. Because we don't want to have to remint those old ones. It becomes problematic, unfortunately.
So if I have 10 Vox, say, each one of those would then be able to craft an item once I've mastered that particular recipe.
Correct.
Yep, got it. Okay, that's really interesting to know. Um, again,
I've
there's
got a few questions from the community, mainly Oxymo from Jim. And you might like talking about this. And it's not just them. Quite a few people have asked about future mini games that will be within the Vox game. So, do you have any like leaks or more information on the mini games? I tell people
So
they'll be
we
better
have
than the basic crap out there, but yeah, let's hear about it more.
so what I've been looking at as the baseline um, is I, I don't know how many of you guys had like Nintendo handheld units back in the day. Um, but like those first Mario Party games, like that's the level I want to aim for. Like they're not hard, but they look good. You know, they have some skill involved in beating them. Not that old, Jaffe. Like, come on, man. Turbo graphics. Uh, but like, if you go and like do a search for like Mario Party DS or something, and take a look at a video of that, you'll get an idea of what I'm kind of aiming for. Um, because I feel like there's a couple of things. A, this is a mobile game. We can't go too deep. A, because of limitations of the hardware, but also controls on the phone and all that stuff. But it also just seems like that kind of vibe fits Vox, right? Um, so that's sort of the fidelity level I want the team to aim for. What games? Oh my god. Um, we have things that have gone from match 3 barf um to like Vox Kart and a rugby game, and there's been all sorts of crazy stuff that we've thrown over the wall. But I don't know if we'll get to any of that. One that keeps popping back up over and over again, and this might not happen ever, but um, Stuck Pixel and I are big Joust fans, and we've thought more than once that a Vox riding a chicken and having a little combat game would be awesome. Now you have
100%
your chickens.
support that fully because I actually had put that also in the ideas channel. Is Joust was one of the things, and Qbert was another one that seemed to fit
But,
cyborg,
that's on my short list too, actually.
cyborg chickens really well. Yeah. I
But
guess one of the,
go ahead.
uh, one of the things with mini games though is how well they tie into the bigger picture. Like personally, I'd like mini games to be part of the core game rather than a separate kind of loop. Whether it could be storyline, it could
Right.
be
So
resource
there's a
collect.
couple of things there. One is the mini games will follow a thread of a story. That's a big thing for Night. Is that we still have we still wrote a bunch of story for the old games that we would love to play around with. Um, and the mini games are probably going to follow some of that thread. Um, the other part, when it comes to rewards and stuff, um, it's all going to tie right back into like the creative, build your neighborhood and all that kind of loop. Um, we're it's just another thing to do. So like, if you're somebody and you're like, I can't stand the harvesting game, I'm just never going to do that. I'm just going to play the mini games. You could still get by and still get stuff for crafting and all that stuff. Maybe not as much, right? But you could, we want to get to the place where if you want to avoid a part of the game, you just can, right? It's big enough that you can kind of pick your poison on how you want to get like crafting materials and building materials.
So one of the things from chat has been the mini game creations will be just internal to the Vox team. Would they open mini game creation to external projects?
An interesting idea. So, and this is a just me thing, is I've been kind of keeping in the back of my head of like, can we make of like a Vox game builder of some sort, right? Like a Unity SDK package, right? So go build your own Vox game. That's a total not this year thing, but there with some of the things that the bigger things that Gala's trying to do with Gala Chain, giving some creators the ability to just like use an SDK to make their own creations and put them on Gala Chain seems like a win. But there's a lot of work to be done before we even start thinking about doing something like that.
The simplified version of that major could be like a level maker instead. So if they built like a Qbert, for example,
Right.
instead of having the regular background, you could actually make a custom map for them. Same for Pac-Man, same for different types of games like that. So you own the core mechanics, but you then open it up to make different maps effectively.
Right. Right.
Anyway, it's just a thought.
Yep.
One thing I did notice in the strategy plan from versions 1 through 3, there is no mention of mini games, so I didn't know where on the plan that was intended.
Right after phase 3. So we wanted to get the biggest core systems built first, and then because the mini games is something that we'll do, you know, a bunch in a row, right? So what I was just wanted to show the vision up through fall, and then after that it's like it turns into a live service game, right? And one of the live service things is going to be like, hey, new mini game this month, the Christmas game, the freaking whatever game. So that's where the mini games start falling in.
Okay, so that's a version 4 thing, kind of.
Right. Right.
Yep.
4 and
So
beyond. Yeah.
so in version 3, it's one of the items it says is task quest system. So that would be separate to mini games. Is that correct?
That's separate from mini games.
Okay. Anything more you can tell us about that? Because I know questing has been a lot of interest from a lot of people.
Um, that is kind of misleading. Well, it's like a graphical version of what you kind of do in Odyssey now. Have you guys ever played a game called Survivor IO or Fallout Shelter? Fallout Shelter. Hey Bob, go out into the wilderness, and off he goes, right? And he's basically passively doing a thing, exploring and fighting death claws and whatever, and then comes back with a bunch of loot. It's that kind of a system.
Okay,
So it's like passive questing.
got it.
I know, not super exciting. But again, it's mobile. Trying to make it so that you don't have to sit here and grind in front of your phone for 10 hours. And
So I guess the I did make a suggestion to you a little while ago around I've forgotten the name of it. It's like a mechanic for idle games, where a prestige mechanic, where you effectively destroy everything that you've got, restart again, but at a faster rate. Is that
we could look
something?
at something like that, but like let's get it built first.
Okay, fine.
So
Um,
like a veteran mode, right? Yeah, that like let's see how it goes, but yeah, I'm totally open to that. And I did see your other message about like a Rampage game.
yes.
Um, yeah, that's another one that's been kicked around because um, funny story here. I used to do when I was at Warner Brothers, we would do game jams, and one of the game jams we did was make a giant monster game, and most of them were okay, but one of them was outstanding, and it was you were a giant baby destroying a cardboard city. How they did it in a day, I don't know, but it was absolutely incredible. And I think of that all the time. Every time I see like little Vox running around, I'm like, I want to step on things with my Vox, like desperately. And I think it would be a great visual. I think it would be a lot of fun. You know.
For people listening very quickly, Rampage was a city destroying town concept game where there was 3 characters and one of them you played, and it was a race to destroy the city as best that you could. So that was my idea for the prestige idea, was that you play this mini game to destroy your own city that you've just built and then have to rebuild it again. We'll move on though. Jeff, you wanted to talk about Last Expedition, the cross integration stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was kind of a cluster f. Major, you probably know about what happened yesterday on what was announced in the Medium article for Last Expedition. And
Yep.
then Snoop Dogg got on and played, and he was so stoned, he was just shooting his laser at trees and cussing out the developers, which he has deleted now. And unfortunately, I didn't record it. It was so funny.
Oh.
Anyways, for that mayhem contest, do we have anything official we can say on how to get Alice?
Well, funny that you say that. How would you like, and I'll put this to you guys, right? And I'll say this before, is I used to play uh, original Quake in tournaments. I was one of those guys, so OG FPS guy. How would you guys like to uh, try to kill me in Last Expedition on Friday? And if you join, the first, I don't know, 200 that join get a free Alice.
The only problem with that is only 6 people can be on a server at once.
I thought it was 16.
I think it's. Wait, I don't know. You might be right on that. I'm not sure on that. I think it's only 2 teams of PvP, and then you have the P2E part. So 2 teams. Okay, so I'm thinking 3 others besides you. So it's 4 players per team. So I think 8 total. I could be wrong.
Okay. I was told 16 at a time. So, I play for a couple hours if you get into play. But something along those ideas. Is that worthy? Don't you want to shoot a dev? I can bring some other devs with me and you can shoot them too.
To be honest, I've only ever played solo, and I've never played against other teams. But I'm for it. I'm open to ideas.
I am an
Just
amazing trash talker.
well, we'll have to think about it and talk about it and how that would work. Maybe.
Well, we got to.
I would love to be on your team.
Say again?
I would love to be on your team. I only play shooters.
Yeah,
That was-
and the only reason I say Last Expedition is because then it's easy for us to, grant people, prizes and whatnot.
Well, there is another problem with that. People kind of need a beefy PC to play that game. And
Well, I guess we could do it by hand and do something cooler.
It does have a learning curve too. It's not the UI in that is kind of made for nerds. There's a tutorial on it, but it's rather confusing, and you kind of have to play and figure it out. I had to watch YouTube videos to figure out how to go find the core and then take it to the extraction area. It took me like quite some time to finally win it. So.
Okay. This is good to know.
I'm a bit
I've
trepid
only
on
played
that.
it briefly to take a quick look at it, and so I admit that I'm no expert at that game. I was going to take time tomorrow figuring it out. All right, when it comes to that giveaway, let me get back to you. Let me talk to marketing tomorrow, and maybe we'll just do something as simple as a trivia contest or something. But yes, I have a bunch of Alice's I would love to give people. But we'll figure out a way to make sure that, we do something cool with it.
And what's up with the Last Expedition team on that? They were just silent about it all. Or do we not want to get into those politics and legal crap?
I'm not going to get into that politics
Right on.
and stuff. I worry about my house. I was disappointed that they pulled the plug at the last minute, but it's their project, and I don't know what's going on with them on the development side or anything, so whatever.
Fair enough. And we're kind of running over time already here. I got one last question that we can talk about that
Sure.
Oxymo asked, but I've seen many others ask. that we can talk about for the future implementations and updates on the Project Cerberus game? Talking
Mhm.
about only single player, or will we still be able to interact with other players and have a more social
We're
environment?
definitely going to jump into the social side after the core game is built. But expect to have, some chat, and, we've obviously been kind of looking at, clan systems and all the usual trappings. Um, it's not going to be quite as robust as, like, I think what we were all thinking back when this was going to be an MMO, but we're going to have some social stuff. And I've got some ideas that I want to try out to see if they work on a phone comparatively to a PC game, you know. But at the very least, there'll definitely be chat. There'll definitely be some sort of, visit your friends, neighborhoods, and hang out in their houses and stuff.
So selling goods is obviously could also be another social item as well as sharing
Absolutely.
resources. So
Yep.
sending resources to either friends or adjoining properties are
Yep.
also
Absolutely.
uses.
Absolutely. And one of the things that, we're going to be kind of conditioning people to get used to that, because one of the things we're doing at the beginning is AI will show up in your neighborhoods, and one will be somebody who wants to sell stuff, one will be somebody who wants to buy stuff, or more than one. Um, and one will be, a quest, quote unquote, quest giver, which eventually will turn into like, hey, I've got a mini game for you kind of thing. Um, so we're going to get people used to like looking into their neighborhoods beyond just crafting and building stuff, but also looking at, the Vox that are visiting and that are there, whether they're human or AI, and figuring out what they want, right? We're not going to, there's some systems that we still have to really start thinking about of like wants and needs of Vox. We haven't even really kind of crossed that. Like, you know, are they hungry? Do they want to dance or whatever the need is, and like having a fulfillment for that. We keep saying stuff about it, but we haven't come up with the full design for that yet. There's our will write lesson, right?
And speaking of AI, if this comes to fruition, I'm a daily player on PokerGo, and they are making a Gala chain poker, and they're
Yes.
supposed to have nodes for it that actually runs the AI on your systems. So anybody that likes that game, Super Duper's ready to add Vox to it if there's enough demand. I've said this before, so go into the Poker Go chat and let them know that we want Vox at least as our PFPs to sit at the tables. I love that idea.
Yeah, we've got a bunch that we've sent over to them already that are just generic. And we've also done some that are very poker centric that I'm pretty sure we sent over to them, but we have not, we have not given them the keys to all Vox yet. But that's possible. It's absolutely possible. All the art's there. They just have to do the legwork with it.
All right. Well, big thank you, Major. You took on the whole load today. I think we're probably about ready to wrap it up. I don't see any other questions. So again, thank you so much, and let's call it a good ChatterVOX.
Thanks for having me, as always. Happy to see new faces in here. Go check out the alpha, and stay tuned to more stuff coming your way through June.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming along.